The state's #1 team in Class 5A football comes to Fulton High School tonight and wins over the Fulton Falcons by the final score of 31-14 on Rural Homecoming night at Bob Black Field. It's time for Fulton After Dark, and this is Russell Mays along with the head coach of the Fulton Falcons, Rob Black, set to recap tonight's game between Fulton and West. And Coach Black, it was one of those games you got into a hole early and just couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, put ourselves in a bad situation early in the game a couple of times, and thought later in the game we battled back, but it was hard to get out of that hole.
Kind of one of those nights where every time you felt like you were making progress, something would happen, one step forward and two steps back a lot of the times tonight. It
was, and you said it, we would have some positives and then a big negative, and we've talked about that week in and week out, about being consistent, and I felt like we had two really good drives tonight, at least two, and we're driving it a few other times. We turned it over 3 times, and we put ourselves in bad situation penalty-wise at times, and it's hard to win football games that way, especially against good teams.
Well, and penalties really the last 2 weeks have been a big issue for this team, and it seemed like tonight the penalties came, #1, at the worst possible time, and #2, the penalties did them a lot of damage.
They did, and again, you can handle a hustle penalty here and there, but, when it's, kind of a mental situation, a couple times our defense, I thought did a really good job and, had a stop going, and then we, jump off sides a couple times, and then offensively a few times, you get a holding call here or, blocking the back here, different things like that. Again, putting you in a bad situation, and it's hard to overcome.
Early in this football game, Fulton gets the football first, and a fake punt was unsuccessful. You have to give West the football deep in Fulton territory, and the defense steps up and gets a big 4th and goal stop.
Yeah, they did. That was a good start for our defense, not a very good start for our offense. But, there's 3 phases to this game, and again, for the most part, we let them have a couple, deep balls on us, but other than that, our defense played pretty good, and we're shorthanded. But again, it's 3 phases. You got to get it done in offense, defense, and special teams, and we were unsuccessful with that tonight.
And after getting that first goal line stand, Fulton gets the ball back, has to punt again, and has a very short punt. And you give West a situation where it's 1st and goal when they get the football back, and you're able to hold them to a field goal. The defense against the run tonight was pretty good.
It was. They got a couple on us here and there, but our defense was pretty consistent. Our defense made some stops tonight. The defense got us the ball back some tonight. We just didn't do a whole lot with it offensively at times.
West took a 3-0 lead in the football game, and then were able to put together 2 long touchdown passes, one of 37 yards to John Stokes, the other 30 yards to Jaquarius Wren, and then all of a sudden, early in the second quarter, you're down 17-0.
Yeah, we were, and at that point, I think is when we started to implode a little bit, as a team, and maybe a little finger pointing and guys that weren't handling the situation the right way. 17-0 early in the game. We've got some guys that can make plays, and we put ourselves in a tough situation mentally at that time, and weren't able to overcome.
So with West up 17-0, Coach, they try an onside kick, trying to, I guess, try to give the knockout blow, and instead it's kind of takes a strange bounce, and Will Sims picks it up and gets a big return, and it kind of sparks Fulton getting back into the football game.
Gave us a little life right there, almost. It came in a really good time, and they did. They tried to, and I don't blame them for that. I mean, they were trying to, knock us out at the moment. It was 17-0, and so, yeah, we get a good return off of it with Will, and all of a sudden we had a little life.
As a coach, making those decisions for things like onside kick, Fulton's done that a lot down through the years. What kind of goes into your thinking? Is it something you say, this is the perfect situation for it, or is it just more feel?
I think it is situational. A lot of it's feel, and then a lot of it's what you see on film, and do they have a new guy in there? Do they line up? Does this guy do this every time on kickoff or whatever? So, yeah, probably just a combination of everything.
So the Falcons get on the board. A Davion Chenault 1-yard touchdown run makes it 17-7 with 9:33 remaining in the second quarter. And really, from that point on, you're playing heads-up football, playing really tough.
We did. And I think we spoke about this before. I mean, we were kind of even from that point on, but again, we put ourselves in a hole early on, and trying to dig out of that was tough.
Davion only had one touchdown run on the game, and really for the first time this year was held under 100 yards rushing, 12 carries for 18 yards. It was a tough night on the ground for the Falcons.
It was. I think Rayshon ended up getting a little bit, maybe Marcellus a little bit, but we had a hard time running the football tonight. And, I guess the message afterwards was, it's an 11-man game, and already been up there watching film, and you look, and some plays it's 9 on 11, sometimes it's 10 on 11, and if that one guy doesn't execute and get his job done, it causes that whole play to be a wash, and that happened a lot tonight.
And on the offensive side of the football, you were able to feature Rayshon a little bit more with some designed runs, and that seemed to be effective.
It was, and Rayshon was able to do some stuff with his feet tonight. Threw a few good balls tonight, but he was a guy that helped us in the running game tonight.
Talk a little bit about just working with him, trying to keep confidence for a quarterback. The season got off to a good start. The last couple of weeks have been a little bit tough, just trying to stay on top of things and stay positive and keep moving forward.
Rayshon's first time as a full-time quarterback, and he's still got a lot to learn. I think he would tell you that. He's a guy that can make plays, but got to get him a little bit more even keel, and get him to handle the good with the bad and the bad with the good, and hopefully that comes as experience comes.
So Fulton cuts the West lead to 17-7, and you give up a touchdown right before halftime to make it 24-7. And I thought that was really just a big moment in the football game for West to get that touchdown and then get the ball to come out in the second half.
Yeah, I can't remember if that was off of a turnover that they scored on right there, but really did want to go in 17-7 at halftime instead of them getting that one on the board right before halftime. That one kind of hurt us, and I think gave them a little bit of momentum going in at halftime.
What was the message to your team at halftime?
Well, the message was to keep playing. I mean, we made a few adjustments here and there, but the most part, it was keep playing, and can't be pointing fingers. And I talked to them about playing 11 on 11 instead of 9 on 11, 10 on 11 at times, and I thought we came out in the second half and got a stop and then put a pretty good drive together.
Yeah, the Falcons, West gets the football and takes like 5.5 minutes off the clock as they were able to shorten the game down. Fulton is able to get a stop, and then you get a drive. The ball's fumbled in the end zone, but Landon Holbrook recovers it for a touchdown, makes it 24-14, and you're right back in it.
Well, at that moment, I felt like we were in it. We got a little energy again, and it was almost like that's what we were looking for all night, is somebody to make a play and somebody to give us some energy. And, again, we can't wait on somebody else to do something. We've all collectively, all 11 of us, got to make it happen together, And so that was good to see. I mean, we were able to take it down there, and again, 24-14, you feel like you're in it and you got a shot.
And had a couple of shots to maybe get a little bit closer, but couldn't get drives put together. And you talked about waiting on somebody else to make a play. As a coach, how difficult is that when you just don't know who's going to be the person that can step up and make the play?
Well, true, and we've got plenty of guys that can. We've got plenty of guys that can make plays, and I think plenty of guys that want to, and then, at times it's almost like we're sitting around waiting on somebody else to do something. And, I want all 11 of those guys trying to create a big play or a splash play. It's not all the time a guy that got the ball in his hand. It's sometimes, somebody that throws a big block for you, or somebody that does something else other than have the ball in their hands. And we got to realize that and keep playing the football game.
And the fact that this team still fought down 17-0 and had a couple of opportunities where it would have been very easy to throw in the towel. I mean, I think it's not really a night of silver linings, but you still see that there is a lot of fight in this football team.
For the most part, it was. Again, I think we had a couple guys that kind of dropped their heads a little bit, and then those guys actually got a little life in them later on, when something good happened. And, we got to, like I said earlier, we got to play, when we're down. We got to play when we're up, and quit playing to the scoreboard and just kind of keep after it. And, we got to have a little killer instinct in us and play with a little bit more pride, I think.
On the defensive side of the football, you were led tonight by Kashawn Banks with 6.5 tackles, and you saw number 5 all over the field tonight.
Well, he played well tonight. Gibby went out, with a little injury there, and both those guys have been playing pretty well, and I thought Kashawn, got after it pretty good. And Coach Harps and I were just talking in the coach's room up there, before I came on. Thought Kashawn played well. I thought he played with some passion. I thought he did a good job, using the drills that we do in practice and then putting them into play, on Friday night, and he did that tonight and made some plays for us.
Cameron Stokes, second on the team tonight with 4 tackles, and you can't say enough about just how solid he is as a football player on both sides of the football.
No question. I mean, Cam's got a lot of heart. He's a tough kid. He's a smart kid. And, plays both ways for us. And he's in the trenches. I mean, he's banging every play, and he was a tough block for them tonight. And so he made a ton of plays even when he didn't make the tackle. I mean, he was there to make them do something else and give somebody else an opportunity to make a tackle. So I'm like you, I can't say enough about Cam.
So now as you take a look at this film, West has an outstanding defense. So struggling a little bit against their defense is probably not a surprise, just because they are so good. What are some things that you think you can take out of this film to try to work on in the upcoming weeks?
Well, there's a lot, and again, we've been up there watching film already, and I look back and just see a lot of technique stuff, and we talked about it up there. I mean, a lot of technique stuff, guys that. And especially on the backside, we felt like, backside guys maybe took a few breaks and didn't play to their technique and, let somebody cross their face or whatever. And those are things that can't happen, and we talk about that during the week, and we talk about that in the film room. And hopefully the lessons learned when we go back and watch this film is this what happened when you don't do it right.
Keeping your team's heads up is going to be really key, because you come into another big region game this week on Thursday night against Gibbs. You've got a shorter week to prepare, and a game that in a lot of ways may very well be a must-win football game. How do you keep your team pointed in the right direction?
Well, you hope that they have the right amount of pride, and then you hope that you've got some guys that have been around for a while, you know, that will lead this team in the right way. And it can't all come from me. It can't come from the coaches all the time, but, you know, guys doing it the right way at practice. And I think that's where it starts, you know. And I look back at maybe some of our practice habits, and maybe that's what has carried over into a game the past couple of weeks. And so we got to get better at that.
You have a short week this week playing on Thursday night. How does that change your preparation?
Well, you know, Monday will look a lot more like a Tuesday to us this week. And so, you know, may have a couple longer days than normal. You know, Wednesday becomes your walkthrough day. Maybe it's a little bit more than a true walkthrough. So got to prepare for, you know, a defense that we don't see a whole lot and an offense we don't see a whole lot. So going to be a lot going on this week. And, man, I think, you know, having our heads on mentally at practice, and then, like I said, changing our practice habits a little bit is going to be important to us.
And taking a look, Gibbs has shown they have a very explosive offense.
They do. You know, they run something that, you know, we probably see one time a year, and that's them, you know. And so trying to simulate that is a little bit tough. But, you know, again, I have all the confidence in the world in our defense. You know, I think those guys will get after it. You know, our staff will put together a good plan, and I think our defense will be able to execute it.
How big is it to have that game on television on Thursday night where everybody's going to be watching Fulton?
Well, you know, our kids like to play on TV, you know, and gives us a chance to showcase ourselves, and hopefully we look a little bit better than we have the past 2 weeks. And if we're able to do that, then we'll have a chance to win. And if we get the same stuff during the week and can't handle adversity, then, you know, it'll be a tough week for us again.
You know, your style of coaching is very positive. You stay positive with these guys. Why do you think that's important to kind of keep pounding that positive message?
Well, I think number one, you know, there's a lot of negativity in our world. There's a lot of negativity in our community, and I think once you start, you know, hearing negative all the time, then you think negative all the time, you know. And so I do try to stay positive. I do try to keep those guys positive, and I think that's very important to us to understand that, you know, and this has always been the message, is things are never as good as you think they are, but they're never as bad as you think they are. And so let's stay positive and stay the course, and keep plugging away and see what happens.
Well, you have a very early morning coming up as you'll be at the UT game. For folks that don't know, you serve as the, I guess, what's the official title?
I guess I'm the instant replay sideline liaison. So work with the SEC officials and the replay official, and at the UT games. So for me, it's still a lot of learning in football. You know, down on the sidelines, seeing how things happen on the sideline, watching a SEC football game, and a lot of fun for me.
And if the fans might want to yell at you, but you don't have anything to do with the decisions that are made.
I make zero decisions on instant replays. You know, I hear those guys and talk to the guys in the press box on a headset, and you know, I have a pager on when they, you know, go for a replay. My pager goes off just like the referees goes off, and basically I take them out and hand them the equipment, and they do their little review, and then I kind of go back over and watch the ball game again.
All right, so if you're at the UT game and you're yelling at Coach Black for instant replay, you're yelling at the wrong person. Don't do that. You've had some good experiences on the sideline, and I think it'd be interesting just to tell the story of the Notre Dame game and Rocket Ismail.
Yeah, Lou Holtz was the head coach there. Rocket Ismail was a receiver there.
1990, I believe.
Yeah, I think it probably was 1990. And at that time, my job was on the visitor sideline. Now it's on the home sideline. But I just remember, you know, Lou Holtz walked by me several times and just kind of spoke to me or kind of tapped me or whatever. And, you know, I didn't talk a whole lot to him. He's coaching a football game, and you know, he wasn't a play caller at the time, but I think they maybe called a play, and he wanted to call something else, so he changed the play and told him to call something else, and he walked by me and said touchdown, and he just kept on going. About that time, they ran a reverse coming back their way with Rocket Ismail, and he turned the sideline, And as he was on his way to the end zone, Lou Holtz comes back toward him and said, "I told you so, I told you so." So yeah, it was that was a pretty fun moment.
Well, it wasn't too fun of a moment for a 12-year-old Russell May sitting in the stands wanting to get a win over Notre Dame. My heart was broken, but definitely a great moment. Coach, I know you're anxious to get back to work after a loss like this.
Well, I left, and our coaches are up there watching film right now. I just got through watching some. I'll watch it a little bit more, and then after the Tennessee game tomorrow, I'll watch it again tomorrow night, and then our staff will come back together again on Sunday and start putting a plan together. And our hopes is that our guys come together on Monday and have the right attitude and work ethic, and we'll get back to work and be on our way to another W.
It'll be a big game on Thursday night. It'll be the Fulton Falcons and the Gibbs Eagles. It'll be kickoff 7 o'clock from Gibbs High School, and we'll have the broadcast for you right here on WKCS Radio. Coach Black, thank you so much for stepping away from your preparation to come down here and join us live well after midnight here on Fulton After Dark.
Hey, and a shout out to Coach Humphrey. Just at midnight, he had a birthday here, so I want to give him a shout out real quick.
Well, happy birthday, Coach Hump. We want to thank you for watching. Thanks to Robert Sheffield back in the WKCS radio studio putting this on the air, because we're also live on WKCS 91.1. Nicholas Slagle handling the YouTube broadcast tonight. And thanks to all of our crew. It's a big crew that helps to put our television and radio broadcast together. Very proud of all the work that's done to make these broadcasts possible. We want to thank you for watching Fulton After Dark. We'll be back again next week when the Falcons take on the Gibbs Eagles. Until then, this is Russell May saying thanks for watching. Good night, Reagan. Good night, Anderson.